Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is a cartoon in one of the Zimbabwean papers. It's showing Mnangagwa leaving his farm in Kwekwe in a hurry. And in the foreground there is the headlines of one of the papers announcing that Chamisa is bounced back. What is interesting here is that many Zimbabweans will believe this. They will believe that Chamisa is bounced back and ZanuPF is in trouble. They're just back to square one. Those who do not learn from history are destined to repeat it over and over again. We never seem to learn from history. That's one of our problems. That's one of the tragedies of Zimbabwe. The situation here is crystal clear. If anything at all, Mnangagwa is actually thrilled to bits that Chamisa is bounced back. More so that millions of Zimbabweans out there embrace him as if he has done nothing. That is what will thrill Mnangagwa. Make no mistake about it. ZanuPF has managed to survive these last 25 years in particular, thanks to MDC, CCC leaders' breathtaking incompetence. First, they failed to implement even one token reform, even when the country, when the nation had the golden opportunity to do so during the 2008 to 2013 GNU. Why? Well, we initially thought it was because Mugabe and ZanuPF had bribed them with trappings of high office. And they forgot about the reforms. Now it turned out that Mugabe had bribed them with much more than just the E-class Mercedes-Benz, the generous salaries and allowances, etc., etc. Information has started to come out. In fact, came out just days before Chamisa's announcement that he is coming back on the political stage. To those of you who have not listened to the announcement, here it is.
Bhazi rikafira musango munhu asina kwaari kuenda bhazi mumwe anofara kuti ndo patopumba pake nditori nevamwe vangu pana munhu anorwadziwa nekurara musango munhu ane kumba
taibadana kumba kwangu
amana kumba kugombezi rangu reriya mana so but munhu asina imba hatete kurara musango. So opposition inomake sure kuti vanhu vaya vawane minda, but may he so rest in peace vatsvangirai prazi ravo vanga vainaro Chamisa anaro
ane family
kana azoramba ndoenda newe
riri kupi
ane farm
ribi
I know madress emunhu anetsa kuti focha but anaro chakudza off camera.
Okay,
ane mine
ane mine
ane makaseo
yeah
Yes. Biti ane prazi. Hauna kumboona here picture yabiti achitenga mombe kuna Temba Mliswa. Dzekuisa kuprazi. One of the biggest beef producers in the Matabeleland region, the Washman Ngwe.
Okay.
Yes, ane prazi. Ana utenga beneficiary land reform. But what they did is to discourage their people from acquiring my farms because vaiza kuti munhu akaona something chapiwa nehurumende haachapikisi.
Are you for real, Mr. Ganesha?
Nomubvunza Washman Ngwe kuti haasi kuita beef here, producer beef here paprasi. Tonyaendanetsana upo ching'ono gore rere. Handiti kuti stand ya upo ching'ono standard ine painogumira. But vakatotaura nehurumende nemasabhuku ikaextendwa because aita god.
The truth of the matter is, ever since the GNU, FDC leaders have been participating in these flawed elections to give ZanuPF legitimacy. Because ZanuPF paid them, bribed them. What happened in 2023 was so dramatic. The complete collapse of Triple C. Chamisa had said he was forming the new cabinet. Hashtag God was in it. It was God's plan, etc., etc. And then ZanuPF blatantly rigged those elections. Chamisa resigned, or rather, walked away from his party to run away from being held to account for the blatant lies and more so for the damning consequences the nation was now facing. That was the truth. He definitely feared that there was going to be backlash. But after 2 years, he was pleasantly surprised to notice that the backlash never happened. The lies about plugging the vote rigging loopholes, the consequences of conning millions to participate in flawed elections only to give ZanuPF legitimacy, they were all water off a duck's back to Zimbabweans out there. And he has been pleasantly surprised that he has been welcomed back in the opposition. No problems. Why would Mnangagwa be angry with that? Of course he's not angry. Mnangagwa is thrilled to bits to see that Zimbabweans have still to open their eyes and see the reality of what is really going on here. That Nelson Chamisa and his MDC Triple C friends are, in all but name, ZanuPF Team B. They've been playing for Team B to win and have legitimacy. If people had denounced Nelson Chamisa after 2023, the penny had finally dropped and people denounced him, then Mnangagwa would have had reason to panic. Because he knows that he and ZanuPF have to rig 2028 elections. And they will need somebody like Chamisa to con millions to participate to give that process legitimacy. And if people had rejected Chamisa resoundingly, the chances are we're going to reject anyone else proposing to continue participating in the flawed elections. Without the opposition participating and calling their followers to do the same, ZanuPF would lose political legitimacy. They lost in 2008, and it was because of that they had to accept the GNU of 2008 to 2013. While that GNU failed to implement even one reform, Mnangagwa must know that the next GNU, if it was to come about, it will implement the democratic reforms. Particularly if it was to come about because people had finally rejected the likes of Chamisa as corrupt, incompetent, liars, and conmen. There are times when the Zimbabwe Daily has hit the nail on the head. On this one here, he missed it completely. Of course, it serves ZanuPF's agenda very, very well to give the impression that the regime is in a panic and it's desperate to fight off Chamisa, because that helps to give Chamisa political credibility that he doesn't have. And I'm sure ZanuPF propagandists and apologists will be working flat out to give the impression that ZanuPF is really feeling the heat because Chamisa is back. The reality is ZanuPF and Mnangagwa in particular are doing the exact opposite. They are celebrating that their man, Nelson Chamisa, has not lost his touch. And he's going to con millions of Zimbabweans to participate in 2028 to give the rigged elections legitimacy. And so the future of the ZanuPF dictatorship is very much secured, thanks to Nelson Chamisa's commitment to participate in flawed elections. This is the reality. Think about it. Thank you, and have a good night.